Welcome back to Football Supporters Europe special interview featuring the Future of Football project. And for this part, we will be talking to the participants about their experience at the European Youth Fan Forum in Malmo, Sweden.
So, if we move on to the next question, what I wanted to ask you, you all was so we'll start with Mezen, and I think Mezen actually perhaps has a slightly unique experience with this being on this call. I wanted to ask you about your experience at the European Youth Fan Forum, but of course, obviously, Mezen, you were present for the African Youth Fan Forum in Sfax in May, just the month before we were all in Malmo in June for the European Youth Fan Forum. So, starting with you, Mezen, what was your experience of those two events like?
Honestly, it gives another perspective. What I witnessed in the African Forum, especially because it was held in Tunisia, especially in Sfax, is so we have an issue in Tunisia since 2011. Underage, minus 18 years old, are prohibited from entering stadiums. So there is a whole generation who wasn't raised to enter stadiums. So there is this, link that has been cut short between the people and the club or the region, even though they are supporters, but they are not as attached as the previous generations. So this generated an eager to have another window to which they can be linked and connected to their clubs. And having this forum and the previous meetings we had online with these youth and seeing the engagement they had and how they were super, encouraged to just participate and be there and say that, yeah, we are supporters of this club as well and we have ideas and want to participate. It was really amazing. And it shows that whoever made this law has made a huge mistake by stopping this generation from being and having this sense of appartenance to a region and a club. When it comes to Europe, it gives it a bigger scale, honestly. So I witness organization and give me another perspective of how other clubs are being organized. For example, as in Tunisia, we always wanted to open clubs to investments, but we went to Sweden and we spoke with Sweden clubs and European clubs. Said we want totally the opposite. We don't want investors to be entered in our system of football clubs. So there was this dilemma that, okay, this is a whole new perspective. Maybe we were wrong all the way. Maybe there are other solutions. So this is what was really interesting for me, and it working with other people, and we were talking with different clubs and having different ideas to share. And eventually, honestly, I still didn't make my mind of what I really want. Eventually, because when you have only one idea and then people submerge you with a thousand of other ideas and other perspectives, it makes a sort of confusion, but it's a good confusion that eventually will lead to the best decision.
So moving to you next, Sam. So I know obviously with the Football Supporters Association England and Wales, I'm sure you've had the opportunity in the past to get together with younger supporters. But how was it for you in Malmo to meet supporters from lots of different countries, young supporters at the European Youth Fan Forum, and hear about their perspectives?
Yeah, I think when you look at it at your national level, you tend to sort of think you're in a bit of an echo chamber, and there's not many of you, which unfortunately can be the way. But going into the conference and presenting in front of, I guess, what looked like sort of 200, maybe more, young people all from across Europe, there for the same reasons, there to learn the same things from each other and kind of impart such good knowledge and experiences, but also the good practices that people bring. And it's also nice to have that kind of social side and that social aspect to it, because not only do you sort of formulate really good networks and working relationships, you actually make some really good lasting friendships. And as I say, you come from all four corners of Europe as if nothing's changed. You've seen someone almost like yesterday, and you kick off, and everyone's there for the same reason, to support their football team, to increase participation across Europe and their nations, but also to have a good time, I think.
Very well said, Sam. And finally, on this question, coming to you, Trygve, Obviously, you're coming from Sweden, a country where democracy and football are, intrinsically entwined together. What was your experience like in Malmo in June?
Well, I had an incredible time, and I think shout out to MFF Support who was hosting this together with FSC. But I think the other two has been talking about this, but these meetings, and even if we have a unique situation in Sweden, I think some of the things that we face is the same that every supporter face. But I also think that a part of the situation we have can be as a leading light for supporters to see that you can have something else. But I think it was incredible to have everyone come to Sweden, and I think a lot of the focus became what can everyone learn from us Swedes and our situation. But I think we learn a lot of important things, and I think just discussing with people in Norway and Denmark, that Norway has a more similar situation. Denmark has a bit different situation, but culturally we're really close. And I think those kind of meetings, or like meeting with people from every country, has broadened my perspective. But I think a lot of the people from our Swedish organization.
So that's the end of part 2 of this interview. And ensure you listen on to the third part, where we'll be talking to the participants about their journey into taking part in democracy in football at their clubs, at their supporters groups, and they'll be sharing a bit of advice for others who might be thinking to do the same.